Jay-Z, you're just like Diddy. I can't stand your arrogant, condescending attitude. Nicki posted a video of you wearing a pink wig, and I retweeted it. Nothing more. You deserved it. Everyone knows about our feud. It's been going on for over 20 years. I've seen all your manipulation in the industry, from power struggles to cultural control. In 2015, when Tidal launched, Nicki helped you build it from nobody to a successful platform, and you immediately pocketed her $7.9 million in royalties. Lil Wayne was qualified for the Super Bowl, but you kicked him out of personal grudges. How is that any different from Diddy forcing his artists to sign unfair contracts? Just because Nicki didn't align with him, he resorts to this kind of suppression. You're truly despicable. What's even more interesting is that right after I showed him and his father's photo in the documentary Sean Combs' A Reckoning, you immediately had your lawyer send me a warning letter saying I overstepped my bounds. When you wrote the lyrics to exonerate Diddy back then, why didn't you think about today? You say the film is malicious slander, but why don't you dare sue me for defamation? Because all the evidence I have is true. I haven't finished reporting the witnesses in my documentary, and I haven't released all the Tidal profit sharing documents. If you know what's good for you, pay back what you owe Nicki with interest. Don't wait until I make Jay-Z Reckoning 2, by which time even Beyonce's PR team won't be able to.
For years, the tension between 50 Cent and Jay-Z simmered beneath the surface, circulating through rumors, side comments, and carefully worded interviews, until this documentary finally pulls those whispers into the open. Both men rose to the top of hip-hop as undeniable powerhouses, but they did it in radically different ways. One thrived on confrontation and blunt force honesty, the other on precision, patience, and long-game strategy. Re-examining their rivalry forces a deeper question. Who truly shapes the culture, the voice that commands the spotlight, or the mind that operates quietly behind it? And if real power often moves in silence, how much of hip-hop's true history have we been missing all along?
Puffy is close, even though Jay lawyer came out and said they're not.
Because Jay-Z and Puff was given an assignment, and that was to destroy East Coast rap. And what I mean by that, and I know people gonna be like, yo, Gene is out of his mind and everything like that. Check this out, brother, is that New York rappers was getting 80 to 100, 800 to 1.2 million, or some larger than that, and sign with labels back then. And they was getting a lot of money to make albums and records. When they had guys down south that these labels was paying $250,000, $300,000 on record deals, and these guys was bringing back platinum albums and everything like that. So what they had to do was, they had to keep New York rappers down. That's one reason, other than the Irv Gotti that 50 was going through and the poison they was putting in about 50, he had to go elsewhere to California, or with Jay and not with Dre and Eminem to get a deal. They did not want East Coast rappers to get big. They were suppressing all new artists that was coming out of New York. Jay and Diddy was doing that. That's why when I heard your story, because I knew this for a long time, but when I heard Dame Dash that Jay wouldn't sign off on nothing, Jay wouldn't do this and Jay would that, because he couldn't let a Cameron blow up. He couldn't let an East Coast rapper like Beanie Siegel blow up. Because him and Diddy was giving that deal, we gotta keep these East Coast rappers down. Because down south rappers, Cash Money, No Limit, Ludacris and them, they was taking little money and bringing back more money and making more money for them. So the record labels, I wouldn't say they was gonna lose off the
At the height of physical album sales, timing wasn't just important, it was a weapon. Overlapping releases were rarely accidental, and 50 Cent frames this pattern not as petty rivalry, but as deliberate pressure applied through influence and access. In his telling, success wasn't always decided by skill alone, but by who controlled the lanes and the levers behind the scenes. When access outweighs raw ability, the industry starts to resemble a game of power more than a contest of talent. Which leaves one lingering question: where does ambition end and calculated obstruction truly begin?
Look, when Jay signed his contract, the big one was with Beyonce. When he signed that contract, the marriage contract, he got trophies. Now those fucking trophies, those fucking trophies came rolling in, buddy. He started getting Grammys left and right, man. I mean, look, if you look at his career,
You're gonna let him say that?
Jay was getting Grammys.
he had one.
Exactly.
He had one.
He didn't show up.
He had like 20 now.
Hold on.
He had like 18 since he been down. Look, he had one, bro. Hard Knock Life.
Hold on. You're not wrong. At the same time.
After that, he got them shits. He started drinking. His pictures with him like fucking things the cup.
Wait a minute. So you're saying the success is derived from the marriage?
I've absolutely been treated differently.
The accolades. Because he's no longer viewed as what, like a street or gangster rapper. Now he's viewed as a businessman, entrepreneur, family man.
And the biggest ones because of the position Beyonce's.
Oh, wow.
Right? You were connected to the biggest.
Jay got it for the music. Jay got it for the music.
You didn't see.
He deserved those.
I'm sitting there, it was like this, like Black excellence. They're sitting there like, yeah. It's a billionaire brunch. You're like,
I hate you, man.
Unaware of anything going on here. This is the one time I'm gonna be with you niggas this year. Come on, bro.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
He just looking at his watch during the whole Rock Nation, bro. Is it 3:30?
Yeah, it's almost time to get out. What the fuck is that? Yo, I feel like I'm normal again. Get me out of here.
Oh wow! So that's the deal he signed, huh?
Yeah, that's the deal. Like the other ones didn't count as much as that one did.
While U.S. charts told one story, global numbers revealed another. 50 Cent pushes the conversation beyond domestic headlines, shifting focus to how promotion, distribution, and financial backing can shape what the public is told to see. In doing so, he exposes an uncomfortable truth. Cultural dominance is often engineered as much as it is earned. And if popularity can be manufactured, it raises a far bigger question. What does winning really mean?
I advise Beyonce to divorce Jay-Z as soon as possible because I'm ready to shoot a documentary about Jay-Z, and I guarantee it will outgross Diddy's documentary. If Beyonce sends me a legal letter on behalf of Jay-Z, I remind her to stay quiet. This is a dispute between men, and she has no right to interfere. I have to let everyone see the true face of Jay-Z. Jay-Z and Diddy have been longtime friends, and their business dealings never stopped. He frequently attends Diddy's parties, so why do people think he's innocent? Jay-Z and Diddy got involved in the same case in 2024, where a victim claimed she was assaulted by both Jay-Z and Diddy. I remember Jay-Z saying these were all rumors and that he was defending Diddy. But ironically, Diddy got arrested in 2025, and there's enough evidence to count his crimes on one hand. I've known them for 20 years, and I know how many bad things they've done behind the scenes. After Jay-Z founded his company, he repeatedly got into copyright disputes. In 1999, he was convicted of third-degree assault and served time in prison. He was unfaithful to Beyonce, and he was caught by Beyonce's sister. I think everyone has seen the footage of him getting beaten up in the elevator. I've already gathered the evidence, and I'm going to give Jay-Z a surprise.
Oh, yeah, before I forget this, we talked about Jay. Proximity to Diddy. You don't think he knew anything? He's seemingly around Diddy a lot.
No, that was a real suburb question.
I know, right?
Proximity.
And the proximity.
Proximity. That's an SAT hit parade word. I had to learn that.
Do you think he fucking knew all of the shit that was going on? Then I was like
I don't want to incriminate myself.
I know, but the way he said it,
like I said,
no matter how you answer that shit, you snitching.
That was a narc kind of.
You asked the question like a fan.
hey, I grew up with white people, but one thing I know is how to get a black guy in trouble.
But it's a great question.
Yo, just give him the Happy Meal before you ask him to snitch, bro.
He said, damn, they wasn't even drinking.
Speaking of, how the hell you pronounce Lechem?
Le chemin de roi.
Okay.
It's the King's Path.
King's Path.
Chemin de roi. Because I know Branson. That's the one I pronounce.
Branson. That's the Branson lifestyle. You're gonna be outside.
Biff, you're not
worried that if you throw little and you don't throw out allegations, but like you kind of poke fun at them?
You just ask questions.
You're not worried that it comes back your way? Like people dig up your past and try to pull stuff up?
I don't got that shit in my past. I'm not.
Everybody got a little bit.
Look,
like,
I took.
Not that it's real enough.
I took a pill, but it was for me to perform better. For her to remember, buddy. I didn't fucking give her a drink so she forget what the fuck happened. What the fuck is going on here, bro? Yes, I took the drink. I gave me the fucking drug to perform. So she can remember and possibly love me for that.
Did it work?
What the fuck? This is, yo, bro, look, I'm doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm just saying, this is the opposite of normal shit that we're talking about, bro.
That is why. I don't know why it's so hard for people
so
just
for
to
people to feel like you would have something or you would have reserved
The
energy.
Super Bowl controversy pulls back the curtain on how alliances operate when the spotlight is at its most unforgiving. Eminem's insistence on inclusion clashed sharply with the quiet resistance happening behind closed doors, reigniting the debate over who truly decides legitimacy on the world's biggest stages. In moments like this, power isn't defined by talent or impact, but by permission. And when one voice must authorize another to be heard, it raises a critical question. Who is really holding the gate?
Do you need anything? None of the people that have vocalized that another man, and to me, again, that whole conversation has been feminine. But if you're gonna say some like that, you should have actually done something to help the problem. But I never got the call from Ray saying, do you need anything? And anyone else that I've ever given, paid a bill, paid their rent, paid their college, any dollar, not one person, and I don't want them to, because they know I'm all right. But not one person has called and said, yo, could I send you something to help? But I don't need the help. But if you're gonna talk about it, be about it. But to me, that's just a jab when you tell and promote a false narrative and say that I'm in such a bad place that another dude should help me. And that my tail's in between my legs to the extent, because of a lawsuit, that I would actually take that money. I'm a man. I don't want nobody to give me nothing but the opportunity to do what I gotta do. And I don't see no opportunity. I don't want to perform for the Super Bowl. I'm not all right with the NFL. I'm still mad it ain't no black owners. We went from kneeling to being happy when we could perform for them. That wasn't what I was about. I was about ownership of our own league and taking pride in that. I'm not a court jester for everybody else to get good ratings. I know what we're being used for, and I'm not cool with that. So it's a big deal is to jump on a stage for a bunch of white owners? No, that's embarrassing to me. It's a spectacle. They're laughing at us. Like being tatted on the back by another culture is not how I judge my success. Only person that has the audacity to pat me on my back is my family. And they better, I'd be like, you better chill out. I don't want no pats on the back. I don't play that. I'm not in the patty pat club. On no level.
I feel you. But speaking of the NFL, I know right now Nicki Minaj, she calling out Jay. And I know Colin Kaepernick's wife, she called out Jay saying that, Jay did her husband wrong. But I don't know. I don't know the backstory behind that, man. But I know it's going, viral right now on social media. But I do want to ask you, how do you feel about the NFL right now, in general?
It's funny. She's cool with my wife, Rocky.
Artists connected to 50 Cent often describe him as present, approachable, and directly involved, someone who stays engaged with the people around him. By contrast, Jay-Z is more frequently characterized as distant and carefully insulated, reinforcing an image of exclusivity and control. That contrast highlights two very different ways of exercising influence, one built on access and proximity, the other on distance and authority, and it shapes how power and connection are felt across the industry.
He was doing it too. This is people that are looking on the separation between their hardships or their the things that they got going on that would be issues, and what a celebrity's issues would be.
Wait, what is that?
They think all celebrities are doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Right, and when you see, if I wasn't saying anything, guess what? You could safely say that a person on the outskirts that is not involved in hip hop culture could think that everybody in hip hop culture is with that shit.
So by you, you're good, bro. You're fucking good.
Yeah,
He's protecting hip hop.
Yeah.
If you don't speak out and make them the weirdos, then they're gonna think everybody's
Every
like
single
that.
person is like that involved in hip hop culture.
Makes you think, did Jay do it?
Shut up.
He's in trouble. We live in New York, bro.
No.
We live here.
No, free
saying.
Jay-Z.
I'm just saying. I'm just
Shout out Mufasa. We all gonna go and support. Yo, we can all see. You are crazy. That was the craziest thing. I literally.
What's the lady at Rock Nation? I gotta send her to these.
You don't feel like that happened the same day, bro. What's the day came out the day before, the next day?
I was eating Raisin Bran. Okay, I'm eating Raisin Bran. I got my daughter in my arm. I'm scrolling. Right? I see somebody screenshot your shit is Jay and the whole family at the Mufasa Fair, and then the comment is 50 Cent. Jay said, they said I a 13-year-old. Let's go watch Mufasa.
Everybody get dressed. We're going to see Mufasa right now. I just think it was a good look, like angling yourself as
a family man.
Yes.
But they had to go to the premiere,
that
bro.
was planned already.
They had to go to the premiere.
And I realized that later, but I'm just saying to you, I haven't seen him in a long time. That's all I'm saying. When I hadn't seen him in a long time, and then I heard this shit, and then I looked and I saw Mufasa, I said, whoa. That's all that fucking happened, bro. You think this is at my phone? This is my phone. This is happening at real time. I'm going, yo. He said, yo.
You just gotta say everyone gets these jokes, bro. That's what you gotta say.
Yeah, no,
rappers, listen, comedians are new rappers, bro. That's
why
the
do
thing.
people come to my page, bro?
That's true.
I know what I'm
You
saying.
know what they say?
That is true.
Well, you don't think you're gonna happen next? Yeah, that's what they say to me, buddy. Well, you're next, buddy. You're fucking, you're laughing at this.
These opposing reputations expose two sharply different leadership styles within hip-hop, one rooted in accessibility and direct connection, the other sustained through distance and mystique. 50 Cent represents power built through presence, while Jay-Z embodies authority shaped by exclusivity. But in a culture born from the streets and carried by community, the question remains unavoidable. Which approach truly earns loyalty that lasts beyond charts, deals, and eras?
Why?
Because you don't got nothing.
I don't have it. There's no girls gonna come out.
Why you sound skeptical?
Because I think there are some women that are like. No, I think there's some women that are like.
This guy's supposed to be from Queens, bro.
Let me come.
Fucked up experience.
You take him off the corner one time.
No, what I'm saying is I know a couple of exes that fucking throw me under the bus.
You should let him have the corner. None of this would have happened if you let him have the corner. Would have been fine.
You know, there's some like opportunists they'll just throw out the fucking.
But that's what I'm saying. You had to have something. Look, if you already interacted with the person, right, and you hadn't had a bad experience, it would take more for them to say some of the shit that you see these people say. Right? Like, you go, what made you do? What made you? Even when we part ways, and because a lot of times when we interact with people, they're not just having fun for tonight. They think we're bleeding into this hardcore relationship that may not materialize. Right? So I see what you're saying, where they can look and go, well, look, you met the girl in 2003. You hung out with her. You had a good time after the show with 30 girls there. You just went and y'all hung out, right? And y'all just part ways. Right? So there's no negative things between it, but she can look up at the TV now, and you've been a success since then. Feel like that's my life. I was supposed to be there, and be upset with you and say something. But will it have any merit to it?
If I gotta keep
that
real,
woman hasn't been
you ain't always have the most amicable breakups. Do you remember where I think it's your baby moms, where it's like she was kind of speaking out, and then all of a sudden the house just got burnt down.
Yeah, but you know it happens. Left eye. She burned the house down.
This nigga is crazy. That's what I was saying.
No, my God, he goes, wow. So I know how you feel about me now. No. He's going. He's great. So he saw me right the match.
I want my block back.
He go, look, I have faith in our just justice.
I'm a civilian.
I believe
now.
there will be consequences connected to those behaviors and actions that this brother is talking about.
Oh my goodness, man.
Why is that a part of his thought process today while we're here having a good time?
That's a good ass point.
Look, you do have people that really, look, when you break up with them, they don't care about you anymore.
Yeah.
So they'll say things and you go, yeah, but it doesn't hold merit. It doesn't have any real.
Yeah, of course. After all these years,
That's
and
like,
you don't see nothing.
Like the girl that's just upset with you. She's just angry with you. She got you.
Jay-Z's partnership with Beyonce blurred the line between personal connection and strategic expansion, creating a union that extended far beyond romance. Critics have long argued that the relationship amplified his cultural credibility, elevated his public image, and recalibrated how his influence was perceived. Whether by design or circumstance, the partnership reshaped the narrative, positioning power, legacy, and perception as tightly intertwined forces working in his favor.
I thought the smartest thing Jay said in the statement was, if you really believe this happened, then press criminal charges. He said pull up.
But I don't think that was...
Tell me.
Okay, look. Because of the statute of limitation, there is no
criminal. So it's a
so making a statement is to make people feel like.
But apparently, if she's under 18, didn't you say it still could be criminal?
Yeah.
He knows he's fed.
He used to be a cop. So you turned him into a cop. He used to sell drugs and then he became a police officer. Did you know that?
How to rob.
He glorified security. But you know what he would do? When they would arrest G-Unit guys, he would be like, yes. And he was in the court
every time.
I was actually the cool one. I'll give you the extra fucking cheese sandwiches and shit like that. I'll be looking out.
Take care of the family.
Hey, I don't know, man. I think, what's the name? I get confused too. When you look at this shit, it's a lot of confusing information, right? But I think when you do point out that, why didn't you file criminal cases? Because you can't. It's over 20 years old. This was 2000, bro.
No, but I think if it's a minor,
when they're saying this is happening, I'm not even 50 Cent yet.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
You see what I'm saying? Like this is that far back.
Yeah.
So it's like it didn't even take place at that point.
Supporters frame it as a natural evolution rather than a calculated move. But regardless of where one stands, it highlights a deeper reality. Legacy in hip-hop is crafted with the same care and intention as the music itself. When personal relationships intersect with brand building, perception becomes part of the product. And that leaves one unresolved question hanging in the air. Can an audience ever truly distinguish where authenticity ends and strategy begins?
I'm saying, Sean Carter, you're a piece of shit. Taking Pimp C wasn't bad enough.
Real life. It ain't real life. Just say real thing. Real life street stars. Know what time it is.
So why does it all come to a head now? Why now? Why?
Because he's the acceptable monster at this time. Like R. Kelly was the last time I sat on this couch.
So who's next?
Y'all don't see the lineup?
Yeah, we see the lineup. I'm just waiting to see who's next.
Jay-Z is setting Diddy up. Why is everyone having such a hard time? He ain't doing shit different. He lined up D. Haven, stole his life and identity. He lined up Big L, stole his life and identity. He lined up Dame Dash, stole his life, identity, and took his love. Lined up R. Kelly. He wants to be the one.
Yeah, shout out D. Haven. He actually hit us up, wanted to tell this story.
You need to talk to D. Haven.
Yeah, we need to talk to him.
I told you that last year when I put you on the phone with him.
You did.
I want you to think about this. Allegedly, Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up Beyonce, who was struggling. Let's just say allegedly that happened. Now I want you to think about 106th and Park with Mary J. Blige. Free, who is a victim of Sean Carter.
Yeah.
Mary J. Blige, who is a victim of Sean Combs, are sitting there talking about the death of Aaliyah amongst each other.
As past controversies resurface alongside new legal conversations, the spotlight shifts from influence to accountability. The documentary resists passing judgment, but it does confront the systems that have long protected authority from consequence. Fame doesn't just magnify success, it intensifies scrutiny. And when serious questions emerge years later, the true test isn't who is implicated, but whether the industry is prepared to meet that moment with transparency, responsibility, and integrity.
You knew Jay personally, right?
Know him, been around him a couple of times, bro. Been around him a few times, but I didn't know him. You know him as I'm sitting down and I'm breaking bread, eating off, eating a meal around him and shit like that, laughing, talking and joking like that. I've been around Jay-Z, and one time I wanted to knock his head off, because he was being disrespectful, but he didn't know he was being disrespectful because he ain't that type of dude. You understand what I'm saying?
What happened?
We was in Cancun and he had a personal assistant from my block named Laura, and he had brought like 3 people to the club. He had brought like 6 people to the club with him, and he was only supposed to get 3 people in. I was running the door at Daddy-O's from Industry Entertainment. They just told me Jay-Z only get 3 people in. You understand? So I'm at the door. I said, yo, Jay, you good, and 3 of your other good, but the other 3 gotta pay. So then he said, Laura, handle him. And at that time, the type of dude I was, you couldn't tell no woman to handle me. You understand? When I'm talking to you as a man. So then I said, who you talking to like that? You telling her to handle me? You know what I'm saying? And then me and him, he didn't say nothing. He just turned to the side. And if he'd have turned back around, he'd have got his head knocked off. But Laura told me, yo, Gene, please, Gene, you gonna make me lose my job. You know what I'm saying? And because 1, she was beautiful, 2, she's from our block. You understand? I wasn't gonna do that to her. You understand? So I gathered myself, stepped away from the situation, and then the promoter said Jay can let his people come in. You know what I'm saying? But he was being disrespectful. This is the same dude that Harlem Cats used to laugh at and joke at. Even we was out there that time, he came to Cancun and he had a fake Versace shirt on, and they was ripping him. I mean, they was ripping him. I know he's a billionaire now, he can wear whatever he got. He got $10 million watches and shit like that. But we talking about back then. You understand? We still had those stories from back then. And it's good that a brother can uplift himself. And that's why he's the type of person that he is, because he knew how guys used to treat him. That's why you could see him trying to sun people based on somebody who gets in that type of situation. You understand? This dude had the same cream deli silk shirt that I had. Now, cream deli cream shirts were fake printed Versace shirts. They were nice. You pay $45 for them, but you can't wear that around Harlem Cats. You understand what I'm saying? Not if you in the rap industry. At that time, they used to have diamond testers. You understand? They'll roll up on the cat, and if your diamond don't beat, you understand? They'll talk about you. Snatch your chain off or whatever like that. So he had the fake cream deli cream shirt on, and they was roasting him. I think I seen him in a black t-shirt from that point on in Cancun the whole time he was there. Yo, let me just tell you something. When dudes from Harlem got something on you, bro, and they joking you, they at it. They gonna stop until somebody with some power or somebody with some money say, yo, get that dude a break. Give him a break. So Dame probably used to let him get him in a little bit, but then when Dame was like, yo, my man, let my man live. Let him live. They probably back up off of him or stuff like that. But they was joking, they was talking and stuff like that. And cause you just don't do that. You don't come to no major event with nothing fake or phony on. Not at all. Unless the only way you could get away with something fake or phony on if it was Dapper Dan. If it was a Dapper Dan special, you good.
In the end, 50 Cent positions himself in direct opposition to a culture of silent compliance, arguing that what's often praised as restraint is really a form of self-preservation rather than genuine neutrality. In his view, silence isn't passive, it's protective, strategic, and deeply tied to maintaining power. And by challenging that silence, he reframes the conversation, suggesting that speaking out isn't recklessness, but a refusal to participate in a system built on quiet self-interest.
If it wasn't Dapper Dan, nah, you couldn't do that, bro. Not at all. Should have known better, but he was from Brooklyn.
But from what you know about Jay, do you believe he's capable of doing what he's being accused of?
What I know and of Jay, and what have I heard of Jay, I want to say this to protect myself, that there's stories of Jay talking to underage girls. It was a girl from my block that was 16, 17 years old that Jay was talking to. If she was 17. So there's plenty of stories out there that they might flood the market of Jay talking to underage girls. I heard this kid that is claiming to be his son. His mother was 15 when she conceived him and had him at 16. And Jay refused to do a blood test or anything like that. And all of a sudden, when this has gotten real big and Tony Bugsby had taken the kid case, the kid just got arrested for having a gun in his car, I think, like that. Did you hear something about that? That the kid got arrested for having a gun in his car, and when they go and watch the tape, somebody was planting a gun in the kid's car. Now the kid who never been in trouble to that degree, and now he's facing a case for a gun case for having a loaded firearm in his car. So, answer your question. There's plenty of stories. Ain't Beyonce one of those stories? Isn't Foxy Brown one of those stories? Isn't that kid mother one of his stories? There's a lot of stories, bruh. So that's what I say about it.
By choosing to speak openly, 50 Cent challenges an ecosystem that often rewards silence over honesty, laying bare the real cost of staying quiet. In doing so, he exposes a contradiction at the heart of the industry, one that celebrates expression, yet punishes those who use it without restraint. And that leaves an unavoidable question lingering. In a culture built on voice and truth, why do so many hesitate to speak when it matters most?